Mary Schaller Blaufuss. I serve on your behalf in the national setting of the United Church of Christ as the team leader for the Global Sharing of Resources team and as UCC Volunteer Ministries executive. In all of that, what that means is I get to be part of our work together with partners around the world in disaster, in refugees, and in sustainable development ministries through One Great Hour of Sharing offerings and endowment. I also get to be part of mission work in the United States through intentional communities of young adults, through individuals who serve as long-term volunteers, and through mission trips where groups serve. Through your national setting, we are able to provide recommendations of mission trip host sites and to be able to resource those sites and to bring people together so that we can share best practices for engaging in mission trips. And that's why we're here today. I am here with Nate Taylor. And Nate is a pastor in a local Cleveland area church, Avon Lake, United Church of Christ. And I was at a youth leaders group a few months ago and heard Nate talk about mission trips and your passion for mission trips. And I wanted to be able to share that with a broader audience. And so I'd like for you to introduce yourself, and we'll continue the conversation that we started a few months ago.
Great. Thank you, Mary. As Mary said, my name is Nate Taylor. I serve as the Director of Youth Ministries at Avon Lake UCC in Avon Lake, Ohio. We're just about 20 minutes west of Cleveland. And I've been serving there for about 9 years. And as Mary said, I have a passion for mission trips. And I have found in my time serving at Avon Lake UCC that mission trips and work camps are just such a critical part of our youth ministry programs, and I have developed this deep love for those experiences, and I'm so excited for the opportunity to share with you and with others what we've learned and some of the mistakes we've made along the way, and how mission work can benefit not only your local church, but the young people who have these experiences. And I think we don't see the results of those experiences for years and sometimes even decades down the road.
Right.
So I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for this opportunity.
Excellent. Well, you've started by saying that the mission trips are a very important part to the youth ministry in your local congregation. Say a little bit more about how they're important to that youth ministry, and also how do they fit into the overall ministries in your local congregation?
That's a great question. And I think it's going to be different in every congregation. I think the DNA of every church is different. I think every youth group's different. I think every youth leader is different. I have no musical talent whatsoever, so I don't fit the stereotype of a lot of youth leaders. But the things that we do at our church are maybe different than what you would find at a different UCC congregation.
Sure.
But I think overall, when you step back and look at the big picture, I think there's a call that we have as Christians to go out and to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And I think that opportunity shows itself the best in when we go out and we do these types of trips. And so for me and for our church, the mission trips that we do every summer, they serve as almost as a glue for the rest of the year. We find that the kids have this mountaintop, incredibly life-changing experience, and it helps them kind of, the light bulb goes off a lot of times. They see the bigger picture. They understand why there's a thing called the church, why we get together every Sunday, and the importance of being a part of a community of faith throughout the rest of the year. And I think sometimes that having those types of experiences can just be so incredibly powerful for so much that you do throughout the rest of the year.
Nice. Well, and your passion for this ministry just comes out your pores.
Well, thank you.
And one of the things that inspires me about the way that you do your ministry is the amount of time and energy you put into preparation.
Yes, I am a perfectionist by fault, and sometimes it hurts me, and sometimes it slows me down. But I truly believe that the more time and effort we put into these trips and these experiences, the better the payoff is going to be in the end, the better the experience is going to be. And I think we'll be able to look back on it and say, that was everything that we had hoped for. We achieved all of our goals. But I think so much of that is what you do before the trip happens. I can tell you from our experience, when we get home from our trip and we unpack and we look through the evaluations and we do a reunion with the kids, we're already starting to look ahead to next summer's trip. We're already starting to think about some of the big pieces that need to happen for that next summer's trip, because it's the nature of the culture we live in the way society has changed. We've found that if we don't get something on the calendar almost a year in advance, that families are already making vacation plans, at least in the community that we serve in, or they're signing up for other camps and other experiences. And so we want to say, let's be the first one to the plate to say, hey, we already got our date set, we already got our place picked, and I think that goes a long way right off the bat, is just having that date and that location. If you can get that hammered out as soon as possible and then worry about the rest of the stuff, I think that's critical.
Yeah, and your preparation is putting the date on the calendar, getting the enthusiasm throughout the whole year. You also pay special attention to the adult leadership.
Absolutely. I think if there's one other detail that's so important about these trips, is it's the adults that you bring on the trip. I think in a lot of times we find ourselves in a setting where it's just like, I need anybody. I'll take anybody at this point. I'm down to it. I need an adult that is crazy enough to go spend a week with teenagers. And I do believe that if you go on a mission trip with a group of teenagers, you are slightly crazy. And that's okay. I think it's good to have a little crazy in you. I have a lot of crazy in me, and I think it's really important. But that piece is so incredibly important. And so we spend a lot of time making sure that the adults that we asked to be a part of this experience fit the needs of the trip and the needs of our goals. And we spend a lot of time also preparing those adults, because I truly believe that if your adults are prepared and your leaders are prepared and they know what your expectations are and they know what you want to get out of this trip, that they help make that trip also happen, because you just can't be everywhere. You can't. In our setting, our trip has grown so much over the past 9 years. This summer, we're taking 82 kids to Pittsburgh to serve for a week. And with that, we have a team of over 27 adults who are also going to be a part of that trip. And so the reality is that those 27 adults are spread out among the rest of those kids. And for a week, they are serving as almost a parent, as a role model, as a leader, as a mentor, as a pastor, as a coach. They play so many different roles. And so we need to make sure that we have adults that get that understand their different roles and are able to understand what goes into this trip. I give each of our adults a document before we go on the trip. I just handed it out last week at a meeting. And it used to be a 2-part document. It said roles and responsibilities. And we walked through the different roles that they had and the different responsibilities. And a couple of years ago, I had a couple of adults that were new to the trip. And it was so far out of their comfort zone. I knew they were good for the trip. I knew they had the skills to be a part of this trip. But this experience was so beyond their comprehension of what they thought was normal, that they almost freaked out. And looking back on that experience, I said, there's something we're missing here. And so we added a third R, and we call it realities. And so we have roles, responsibilities, and realities. And I think the realities part is so important, because for a lot of these adults, they don't understand the realities of taking 80 kids on a trip, and the fact that, we're going to stay up really late, and then we're going to get up really early, and then we're going to work all day, and then we're going to do all this stuff, and then And they're like, wait a minute. When do we break? And we're like, well, there's not really a break. You see, you need to be able to go all week long, and then you can sleep the rest of the year. And there are going to be a point in the week where you're going to want to take a kid and probably put them in a headlock and put them in a box and ship them off to a faraway land. But you can't do that. But that's the reality. You're going to get to a point where you're so exhausted where you don't know how you're going to get out of bed. But you have to, because it's part of the experience. And so we talk through a lot of those things, and I think it helps the adults go, okay. But no preparation can take place of truly just being a part of that experience. And so the second part of that is I do everything in my power to take care of our adults. Whether it's buying the most expensive coffee there is, or a specific brand that they want, or whatever I can do to make them comfortable, because I know they're the reason that the trip is able to take place, and they're the magic makers that are in the trenches throughout the week working with the kids. I'll do whatever I can, because I want those adults to say, yeah, I want to come back next year. I'm crazy enough that I had such a crazy time, and I want to do it again. And one of the things that we've found is over the years that the word is spread about this experience, and so we've had a number of adults who now want to be a part of the trip, and we've had to actually start like an application process for adults, and that's become difficult in some cases, because you have some really good adults who would do it for the next 20 years. And then there's that balance of, well, should we ask them to step aside for a season and let some new adults have a chance to be a part of this trip?
Well, and it sounds like that's the opportunity for a church to be able to expand into an adult mission trip.
Absolutely.
Which the adults have a different role in an adult mission trip than they would as the adult leaders in a youth mission trip. And yet it's that same opportunity to travel together, to be part of a life of the community someplace else.
And that is, and so much can come out of that, after you get into it and you develop that bug. I always say you're going to catch the bug, the service bug, and when you do, it's really hard to get rid of.
And I love the way that models youth being leaders for the whole church.
Yes. Yes, and I agree.
We need to follow our youth into ministry.
Absolutely.